My friends in Cape Town always tell me how bad the weather is in Cape Town, and I don't know what they're talking about. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Stellenbosch. Asara is obviously the home of craft gin in the region, with over 500 different gins, I think, at the Zanzibar. And with me is one of the pioneers of the craft gin movement here in South Africa, Simon von Witt.
Yep. Welcome to the show, Simon. Thanks, Holger.
Simon, you were one of the original brands with Woodstock Gin, wasn't it?
Yes, we were actually the third oldest craft gin distillery in South Africa.
Okay.
So,
it makes you a pioneer.
Definitely, I'd say so.
So who was there before you?
Inverroche and Jurgensen, and
okay.
then Hope and Hopkins started shortly afterwards.
Okay, so Roger was obviously
the real pioneer.
The real pioneer, and I remember visiting him on his little farm outside Wellington. And what impressed me the most was his bitters. He made some bitters for me and poured me a rock shandy, and I just couldn't believe how nice this thing could be.
You tried his absinthe. It's also pretty.
No, I didn't like that.
That was,
yeah. So Simon, tell us how. I remember going into Woodstock, that arcade. What was that called?
Salt Circle Arcade. Yeah.
Salt Circle Arcade, and tasting something chocolatey. It tasted like heaven. Can you remember that?
Yes, clearly. That's where it all actually started. It started, before I was making gin, I was making liqueurs. I spent a few years traveling around Europe and ended up teaching English in Italy and Spain, and I just loved the culture where the meal never ended with a dessert. There was always something afterwards, a digestive, a grappa or a limoncello or some sort of liqueur, and it just kept on going late into the night. And I thought, this is fantastic, I'm going to bring that back to South Africa. So I got a lot of recipes from friends over there, and when I came back to Cape Town, I started playing around with them and found that we couldn't actually make it using cane spirit or anything from the supermarket in South Africa. Over there you could buy alcohol at 90%. Over here obviously there's a bit of an issue with buying high percentage spirits, and maximum was 43%. So did a bit more research and I found Roger Jurgensen, and he was offering courses at his distillery, and I went out there and did a course and ended up buying one, a little 30-litre still, and that's where it all started. We started making our own alcohol. Got a license and started making liqueurs and going to markets on the weekend, going to good food and wine shows, and just sort of paying for itself. It's just a hobby, weekend type of thing.
And at the same time, I met Warren with his Dragon Ginger Beer, and you were sharing.
Yes, we initially shared premises out in Atlantis, and then we moved to Salt River.
Okay.
Yeah. And
were you marketing it together at the markets, or was it completely separate?
No, we had separate stands, but we'd often go to the same markets. Yeah.
Okay. And that's a long time ago. What sort of, give us an idea when?
We're talking about 2009, 2010.
That long ago.
10 years ago. Yeah, ages ago.
Yeah, that was long before everybody woke up to the word craft gin.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was Jack Black had just started out at that stage in 2007, 2008, and craft beer was just picking up. So, craft gin was.
But and I mean, I remember looking for new ideas, and I came across Roger's website and his beautiful packaging, and for me, it kind of a vodka in a beautiful bottle like that, and he had a gin, and he phoned me once. He was looking for sugarcane juice, and he wanted to obviously make a rum agricole, and I didn't even know what he was talking about. But that's a long time ago. Now we know a lot more, don't we?
Absolutely, yeah. No, Roger was definitely one of the pioneers. I think he was doing it long before everyone else woke up to the whole movement, but he probably put craft on the map initially, although he was so I think it was just a little bit too small scale. He didn't do enough marketing really to get known,
And I guess we all got different strengths. His strength is developing recipes and really tinkering and making the stuff. Develop, and then you get the marketers who change the world.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So you were making those those liqueurs, and then how did you get onto gin?
Gin actually all happened by chance. I mean, I was doing the liqueurs, I was at market, and then someone gave me a bottle of Inverroche to try, and I was blown away. I thought this was fantastic. I'm going to start making a gin. And before that, I never really even liked gin. I thought it was Gordon's, Schweppes, and a slice of lemon. But when I tried the Inverroche gin, I thought there's so much more to it, and I thought we could really do something with gin. And we started playing around with the base spirits that we were using, which was a grape base, and we often used leftover beer as well, sort of malt base, and experimenting with gin. And suddenly just took off, and I was,
And it started selling.
It started selling locally in Cape Town, and then I was contacted by people up in Joburg, and we got it up there, and within a few months it was pretty much national. So we started selling it at markets. I think we did the Cheese Festival, Good Food and Wine Show, and it was so popular that we decided to get into a couple of stores as well, and once people started hearing about it, it just took off.
Who was the first bottle store that you supplied?
It was actually Tony.
Was it Tony?
Liquor City. Then we took it out to Marnie, Roden Liquors, and it was doing really well there. And then from there we took it out to quite a few more liquor cities, and it took off there as well. And a couple of tops at Spa, and then we got someone up in Joburg to distribute it for us.
Can you remember who that was?
Yeah, Nicholson Smith.
Okay.
Yeah. And they got it into quite a few stores, and then we got contacted by Ultra, and they came down and tasted it, and they liked the product, and we got into Ultra nationwide, so it took off from there.
Yeah, it's not that easy.
I left my day job.
And then you left your day job.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then pretty much the rest is history, and we moved from a tiny little premises, little hole in the wall basically in Salt Arcade, across the road next to the biscuit mill. And it's just kept on growing. Got into Pick and Pay eventually, and that's where we got to the point where we actually had to take on someone because we were growing too fast and we couldn't keep up with the small scale distribution that we were doing, and we got a partner on board.
Okay.
And that's to help grow the business.
Okay, now that could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing.
Yes, good and bad. The partner helped in many ways. It was a distribution company, it was E Snell Co, and they taught us many lessons and helped grow the business to where it is today. But at the same time, they were corporate and we were craft and had different visions, and ultimately that's caused the separation. Yeah.
Okay, so it didn't in the long
really
term.
work out,
it didn't work out, and
yeah.
so they've just taken it over and they make it now, and
now they make it commercially and mass produce it. They don't do any production on site anymore, and they just use it. The actual shop as a tasting room.
Oh, they still got that shop.
The little tasting room,
in Salt Rock. In Salt.
It's next to the biscuit mill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So on a Saturday, is it still part of that whole scene?
Yes. On a Saturday, it's very busy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what lessons did you learn from the big boys?
Well, I learned quite a few lessons about actual sort of production and consistency, and spirit quality, packaging. Quite a few good lessons.
And in terms of the sales, or weren't you really involved in that?
I wasn't really directly involved in the sales. I got the sales report at the end of the month, but that's...
and have you got any idea of the volumes that they do now?
No, I couldn't say offhand, but when I left at the end of last year, I was guessing it was about 3,000 bottles a month or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not insignificant, but it's not a massive business.
No, not huge business, no.
Yeah. Okay. And I mean, partnering with a corporate can't be easy for a craft man.
No, it was difficult. I mean, I left the corporate sector and went into craft, and then ended up going back into corporate. So it was difficult. So, but at the same time, I learned a lot of valuable lessons, and I don't regret it. It's helped me grow, and I'll use those lessons going forward.
Yeah. So I mean, we've just seen that Inverroche has been acquired, or Pernod Ricard invested in that business. What do you think will happen there, or is that a naughty question?
I think pretty much the same. Yeah.
Okay.
But Inverroche are on a much bigger scale than we ever were. They started off with 1,000 litres still, and they're very well established in 19 different countries, as far as I know. Yeah, so
it is on a different scale.
Completely different scale, yeah. I think Lorna, might start up something else now. I'm not too sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And what are you up to now?
We started a new brand, or actually a few new brands.
Okay.
Sort of
back to the same old liquor, don't you learn?
We have, as I said, we have learned many lessons.
But not
with
enough.
Woodstock, we put everything under one roof, and now we've separated our brands. So we've done a completely different non-alcoholic brand to our alcoholic brands, and we've diversified as well. We're doing spice sachets, which is a really nice garnishing for drinks. We're doing non-alcoholic gin and tonic. We're going to start doing a non-alcoholic mojito. We're doing tonic as well. We're doing a range of gins, 3 gins, and a vodka and a rum as well.
So the second time round could be easier, but the market is changed so much that it could be much more difficult.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm finding the market very saturated at the moment and very difficult to get into, or get back into at least. So we're looking at trying to establish something in the Western Cape, and hopefully KZN and Gauteng, even on a much smaller scale, and then get into the export market. I'm going to the Food and Hotel Expo in China at the end of the year, and hopefully I can get something going there as well. Yeah.
My friends in China tell me that gin is not big in China.
Well, I'll have to find out when I'm there. I know it's quite big in Singapore and Hong Kong at the moment.
Yeah, different markets. In the Chinese tell me that they're starting to drink wine. Obviously, beer is very big, but gin and whiskey are not big. Interesting.
Yeah, probably all drinking their baijiu.
And it was my friends from Changsha Bai, one of the, I think, top 10 baijiu producers in China.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
They came over to South Africa a while ago. They're exploring the South African market. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, I'll have to find out when I'm there. See what happens.
Yeah.
So we're also looking to establish ourselves in some of the islands, Seychelles, Mauritius.
Have you got contacts there, or is it?
Yes, we used the sort of Indian Oceans group before with Woodstock Gin, and I've spoken to Mandy, and she's quite keen to get it going again. So obviously small volumes we're dealing with, but nevertheless it does move quite fast there. Then I think there's quite a big market for those little 50ml bottles that's actually untapped at the moment, where we're looking to getting those into hotel groups, game reserves.
Okay. I also like those miniatures because people get to try a lot more different gins.
Absolutely, it's a nice little souvenir. You can build up a big collection, and
you don't have to fork out 300-400 rand every time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Easy to slip in your pocket. You don't have to even put it in your suitcase when you're flying.
Yeah. What has the response been now that you back in the business?
It's been mixed, I suppose. I'm not going to lie. It's been quite tough. I mean, people say, "Oh, we've got so many gins on our shelves." But our price point is very competitive, so people are saying they will look at it and they will give it a chance. So, I said it's been a very tough winter for gin across South Africa. Hardly anything is being selling actually, and if you come in at the right price point, then you've got a chance. So that's what we're doing now. We're going to take a bit of a knock initially, but we'll just want to get it onto the shelves.
And the product that you're making, you're distilling it yourself?
Yes, everything we do.
It's a real craft product.
Everything's made on site, so if you come to our distillery, you can actually see the whole process in action.
Well, I look forward to tasting it. We're here, as I said, at Sora and Terry, who was a judge at the first South African Craft Gin
Awards, yes.
Awards is here, and the barman here. So let's go and get some feedback from him.
Okay, fantastic. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, Simon, it was really nice to meet you. We've been chatting on email for many years and on social media. And I don't think you're that active on social media, but
not so active. That's not my strong point.
But it's always amazing when you meet somebody that you've known for such a long time. You meet them in person, and it's great to meet you finally. And tell us a little bit about the brand.
Our new brands.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know.
The names at least?
The names. Okay, well, we've got two brands. James Benson, which is my middle name, and my wife's name combined. That's our non-alcoholic range. So, as I said, we're doing the non-alcoholic gin and tonic. We've done the rose version, which has got rose geranium. It's got juniper berries, and it's all naturally distilled. So it's a dry distillation, just using water and the botanicals. And we've got the tonic, which has got a zero added sugar in it. It's got a bit of lemongrass and cardamom and natural quinine. Then we have our 5 Pence brand range, which is the name's got a bit of a story behind it. So again, my wife always wants to call our son Spencer, but we never ever had a son in the end. So I said I'd find something that we could call the Spencer or close to Spencer. So it became 5 and Pence afterwards. And there's a link between South Africa and the UK with the gin and the coin, the British coin. So we thought it was quite a nice name. So
that's quite nice. 5 pence. So the number 5 and pence.
5 and pence. Yeah.
And how much does it cost? 5 pence.
Doesn't cost 5 pence. It's about 300 rand. Although the rand might end up being about 5 pence in the near future. We'll see what happens.
And on social media, where can people find you?
We're on Instagram and at Distillers Union, and also 5 Pence, and Facebook. We at 5 Pence, and also at Distillers Union as well.
Okay, and tell us a little bit about the other product that you've made all along. That little tea bag, I call it.
We've rebranded that. We called it Spicebergs.
Spicebergs.
Yeah, okay. That's very nice. Yeah, that's actually a bit of a CSI project we're doing. It's a community upliftment, where we employing or giving it ladies in disadvantaged communities to actually make these little sachets for us. We used to do it in-house. Now we've branched out and we've got little pods in different communities, one in Somerset West, and we're looking at building another one out in Grabo and other areas, where they make the sachets. They've got cardamom, star anise, cinnamon, juniper and hibiscus, and they add colour, a little bit of pink colour to the gins, and they just keep on adding flavour. You can use each one about 3 times, and they're really fantastic actually. They've taken off quite nicely. You can use them for any white spirit, and we tested them in tea actually. It even works in just hot water, and if you want to make it almost like a glue vine, you can add a shot of gin to it. So it's got multiple uses, and it's a really nice little project, and also nice sort of side benefit to the community as well.
Okay, so just explain it. It looks like a triangular little tea bag.
Yes.
And inside this tea bag, am I allowed to call it a tea bag?
You can call it a tea bag, although it's
a spice bag.
Bit more than a tea bag. It's a silky spice sachet.
Silky spice sachet. And that you drop into your gin and tonic, your long drink, and as you said, any drink, and then afterwards you take it out and then you can use it again.
Absolutely. You can keep it in for a few minutes and just adds a little bit of flavour and colour, or you can keep it in for 20 minutes and it adds a lot more flavour. And even if you've got an old bottle of gin that you don't really like, you can drop it in there for a few hours and it keeps adding flavour and colour to it. So it's got multiple uses.
Okay. So I'll tell you what I used to do when what's the Harbour guy, what's his name? New Harbour, when they launched when Nick launched his distillery, he had this crowdfunding thing, and I bought a bottle of gin online on his crowdfunding thing, and we received this bottle, and my wife loved it. It was a rooibos thing, first time we'd ever seen a rooibos gin, I think. And I said I can make that, and I put a bottle of gin in a coffee percolator, put a few rooibos tea bags in the coffee side and then percolated the gin through that and made a rooibos gin. But she wouldn't drink it. She refused to drink it. I think next time I'll just drop your little...
Try one of the spice sachets. I'm sure it'll work.
There you go. Lots of clever things from a clever inventor. Simon, thanks for joining us today.
No problem.
And we wish you good luck. And guys, look out for... Just give us the
James Benson, 5 Pence, and the Spicebergs, and Distillers Union. Obviously, that's where everything's made. Yeah.
Okay. There you go. Thanks for joining us, and let's go and taste some gin.
Pleasure. Thanks, Olga. Let's do it.
Thank you for joining us on this podcast. Simon really is a pioneer in the craft gin industry, and lots of interesting lessons there. The best way to listen to our podcasts is not on your desktop. Please sign up on your Android phone or on your iPhone. It makes it so much easier. This podcast was brought to you by DrinksBiz, a powerful network for business owners and professionals in the beverage industry. Check it out at www.drinksbiz.co.za. Until next time.